The Iron Thorn. The wind from the Grey Coast carried the salt sting of the sea into the halls of Thornhold, a grim fortress perched upon the cliffs like a predator poised to strike. Its black banners, bearing the sigil of House Draveth, a crowned iron thorn, snapped in the cold breeze. Inside, the great hall was a sea of murmurs and tension as lords and ladies of the region gathered at the summons of Lady Mara Draveth. Mara sat on the ironwood throne, her dark hair braided with strands of silver, her sharp eyes surveying the room like a hawk watching prey. She was no queen, but her authority was unquestionable. Thornhold had always ruled the Grey Coast, its strength forged in blood and iron. The lords might grumble, but none dared challenge her, not openly. At her side stood her son, Taran, a young man barely past 20, his face pale but set with determination. This was his first council as heir, and Mara meant for him to learn. The Grey Coast was not kind to the weak. Silence, Mara commanded, her voice cutting through the noise like a blade. The hall fell still. Reports have reached us, she began, her voice cold and steady. The southern lords have grown restless. House Hellier claims our ships raid their shores. They threaten war unless we pay them reparations. A murmur rippled through the hall. Lies, growled Lord Brecken, a grizzled man with a missing eye. We've raided no one. The southerners grow fat and lazy in their flowered fields. They invent excuses to march against us. Aye, muttered another lord. They've always hated us for being stronger. Mara raised a hand, silencing them. Whether the raids are real or not matters little. House Hellier has already rallied 3 other southern lords to their cause. If they march, the Grey Coast will burn. Let them try. Brecken barked, slamming his fist on the table. We'll break them on the cliffs. Their pretty knights and painted banners mean nothing here. Taran shifted uncomfortably. But can we truly withstand them, mother? If they come in force, they will bleed for every step, Mara cut in. But even so, Thornhold cannot fight the entire south alone. Her eyes swept over the assembled lords. We need alliances. Who would stand with us? Asked Lady Sanna of the Broken Isles, her tone skeptical. The East despises us, and the North cares nothing for our struggles. There is one who might, Mara said. Lord Davor of Blackreach. The name sent a shiver through the room. Blackreach was a kingdom of shadows and whispers, its ruler a man feared across the realm. Davor had claimed his throne through blood and treachery, and his power was said to be bound by strange magics, though none could prove it. Davor is no ally, Brecken spat. He's a vulture. He'll pick our bones clean. Perhaps, Mara replied coolly. But vultures feast only when the battle is lost. If we play this carefully, we will not lose. The room fell silent. They all knew what it meant to seek Davor's aid. The Iron Thorn would have to bend, if only slightly, and Mara Draveth was not a woman who bent easily. Send me, Taran said suddenly, his voice firm despite the tremor in his hands. Mara turned to him, her expression unreadable. You would go to Blackreach. I am your heir, Taran said, meeting her gaze. If I am to lead one day, I must prove I can protect our house. I will treat with Davor and bring back his support. The room stirred, lords muttering among themselves. He's too young, Brecken said. Davor will eat him alive. Mara studied her son for a long moment. Then she stood, the room falling silent once more. Very well, she said. You will go to Blackreach. But hear me, Taran, Davor is a serpent. Speak too freely, and he will twist your words into chains. Trust him too much, and he will turn on you the moment it suits him. You must be as cunning as he is. Taran nodded, though his hands clenched at his sides. I will not fail, mother. The lords departed shortly after, leaving the great hall empty save for Mara and Taran. As the last of the banners disappeared into the night, Mara turned to her son. You think this is a test of strength, she said softly. But it is a test of survival. The Grey Coast is a graveyard for the foolish, Taran. Remember that. He nodded again, but her words lingered like frost on the air. The next morning, Taran rode south, his small retinue swallowed by the mists of the coast. Days passed, then weeks, with no word from Blackreach. Whispers spread through Thornhold's halls. Had the boy been slain? Betrayed? But when the gates finally opened, it was not Taran who entered, but a lone rider clad in black and silver, a scroll in his gloved hand. Mara read the letter in silence, her face an unreadable mask. When she finished, she looked out toward the sea, her eyes cold as the crashing waves. Prepare the men, she said at last. What does it say? Brecken asked. Mara's lips curved into a bitter smile. Lord Davor sends his regards, and his price.